All right, we're recording and hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is a bit of a test for me. I'm still getting used to GoToWebinar. It has so many cool features. It does so much, but it's just knowing where all the buttons are. And it took me a little while to put this particular PowerPoint together because I had a little bit of research to do. But this is part two of our Rocking Your Business with Facebook Engagement Strategy. It's part two and it's focusing on networking and growing your network on Facebook so that you in turn always have an unending supply of people that want to take a look at our products with Isogenics as well as our business opportunity. So it's exciting because it's not just the strategy itself, but it's actually how do we keep expanding and putting ourselves in front of people that are interested in what we have to offer. So that's what the focus of this particular webinar. And I do have my very special friend and panelist on. Her name is Mary Burrell, and she'll be speaking in a few minutes. Mary, you're there, right?
I am.
Excellent, excellent. I'll be calling on you in just a little bit.
Okay.
So just enjoy the slideshow in the meantime. I'm going to go full screen again. And again, if you can't see something, let me know and I will change it. And we're going to go ahead to the next one. Well, I remember Bridget said you want to make sure you tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So that's what we're going to do in this next couple of slides. We're going to quickly review what we did in the last webinar. And that again was Rock Your Business with Facebook Engagement Strategy. We're going to create a posting strategy schedule. You know, I do hear from people as they start to engage in the Facebook engagement. Oh, it's a little overwhelming, trying to find the time. Now, part of that's them getting in touch with their why. And anytime you learn something new, it can feel a little bit overwhelming at first. However, having a schedule and having a daily mode of operation will go a long way to eliminating that overwhelm feeling. In fact, they say that overwhelm actually comes from the fact that you're thinking about something. You may have set some goals, but you haven't taken action on those goals, and it actually makes you feel overwhelmed. I thought that was really interesting. What happens with your post goes viral? We have Mary Burrell's going to share what happened when her post went viral, and I actually have a slide on that when we come up to that. We're going to talk about celebrating people's birthdays and reconnecting with your Facebook friends. It's a great way to stay in touch with people, and it's a natural way to open up a conversation. We're going to talk about networking on groups and pages and a little bit of how they differ. And we're going to talk about who your target market is, thinking a little bit with your marketing hat on and not just randomly connecting with just anyone. You want to think about who's going to be interested in health and wealth. We would think that would be everybody, but the truth is, if you try to market to everybody, you end up connecting with no one. So you have to really determine who your ideal client, distributor, business partner would be. We're going to talk about creating Facebook lists and networking on Facebook groups and pages. And I did mention we'll talk about how those two differ. And we will also, let's see, I'm just looking at what I wrote here. Have the long view. Oh, yeah, that's now I get what I was saying there. Really, we want to have a long-term view of this Facebook strategy. People will try it for a few weeks or even a month or so and maybe get distracted or feel like, well, it's not working for me. I'm not getting enough traction. They don't realize that just like anything that you do, if you commit to it, and I say commit 3 years to this engagement strategy because you're going to get better and better at it, and you're going to be able to duplicate this with your team members. So it gets more and more powerful as time goes on. Uh,
Excuse me.
yes.
Bridget's saying that the PowerPoint is not moving. We're still on Rocking Your Business Facebook Engagement Strategy.
Oh, thank you. Mary, have you been able to see it move?
No,
Okay, well, then we have to take it out.
Bridget was on it. I didn't realize it was supposed to be moving, but Bridget, thank you, Bridget.
Yeah, what was that again?
Bridget says she's not seeing
Yeah,
us.
no, I know. We just talked about that. So we're going to go ahead. Can you see the slide I'm on right now where it says review?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously when I bring it full screen, it's not showing the changing of the slides. So I'm going to have to talk to GoToWebinar about that. At, yeah, so at any rate, so there we are. And the next point I was going to make is review the Facebook engagement strategy videos in the back office at Alive to Thrive Now. We just posted up the webinar we did a few weeks ago in the back office, so it's available now to be viewed right there. Be a team player when you're engaging with this Facebook strategy. Like and comment on other people's posts, because sometimes we see people sort of jump in and out of the strategy, mostly when they're thinking of posting for themselves, and they haven't always thought about, wait a minute, I should be checking in morning and evening to see who else has posted and be a team player. And most people are really good about it, but there are a few that just haven't quite gotten the concept that it really takes all of us working together to make this super successful. So this is just a little bit of review on that. So now you're seeing the next slide.
Yes.
Change. Okay, excellent. We're going to review let's see, I'm going to recommend that you review Rock My Business webinar with guest speakers Mary Burrell and Bridget McMillan. We'll cover all aspects of Facebook engagement strategy, including the three-way messaging that leads to a three-way call. So that's basically just the review part. And okay, so let's talk about what happened with Mary Burrell. There's a power. The reason we're liking, commenting on each other's posts is that it increases the traffic to your posts. Facebook has something called algorithms, and these algorithms are really cool because the more commenting and liking you get on a post, the more visible your post becomes on more people's news feeds, your friends and your friends of friends, and therefore it has a potential with the right post at the right time. And we can't always anticipate which post will do this. Sometimes it's just something very spiritual, and I don't know if we can totally determine that. But Mary, you experienced something quite extraordinary. You had a post that went viral. I think it was shared over 6,000 times. I think you had 2,000 likes, and if I have those figures wrong, I will correct them for the next webinar. And I know you had over 200 requests to learn more about nutritional cleansing. And I wanted to say the key to all this is keep with the strategy, be consistent, and of course, duplicate it with your team. So Mary, I'm going to put your post up. This one shows at this point in time when I did the screenshot, there was 3,865 shares. And we have, oh my God, so many people liking it. And this was early on. This is not the most recent screenshot. Mary, why don't you share, some of your thoughts when you're putting this post together and how it unfolded, and share a little bit about your follow-up with people as well. I think it's really powerful.
Okay, thank you, Faith. So right now the numbers are, it was shared 8,462 times. It was liked 1,636 times, and 1,680 times someone commented. And I did not expect this at all, you guys. It blew up in my face in a good way, no complaints. I just didn't.
Mary, how many people commented again?
1,680.
Wow. And how many people requested information?
Oh my goodness. If I had to guesstimate in my inbox, about 300 total.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Some of the people who requested information tagged me in a post but did not message me.
Wow.
So I'm just accounting for those in my inbox, and it's very difficult to count, so I can only guesstimate.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Yeah, what started this whole thing, I think this is important to know. I've been looking at these two young ladies who are network marketers, and they're doing all kinds of things, and they appear to be successful. But I want them on my team because they're go-getters. So I've been watching them. been going to their page and liking and commenting on specific posts. Well, the day I made this post, I went to one of the gals' page, and she did a before and after video on her waist shaper, what she looked like before, and then what she looked like after in the same dress. And I'm thinking to myself, these people are desperate. That's got to be uncomfortable, goodness, as they're trying to go to a 4-inch waist, some of them. So I went on Google and I searched the hazards of waist shapers. And I came up with a few articles and I read them and I took, bits and pieces of each article and I made my own post. And then I went to Google and this is as simple as it was. I Googled hazards of waist shapers and I found that picture.
Wow.
So I put together my own post, and I would say about 18 hours it went viral. I woke up the next morning and I was like, what the heck? I have to say this. I've been on many webinars, and I used to be like, I want to be that person that has 5,000 comments and 100 messages and 500 people who want to be your friend. And I finally get to experience a little bit of that. That morning I woke up and logged onto Facebook. It was pretty incredible. But moving along, so I've never had this happen to me before, so I fell into it kind of learning the hard way. And the learning the hard way was forming these people and quickly. I went on a virtual ride from Midwest to the Deep South, up through Africa, Botswana, Spain, over to the other side to Hawaii and Philippines and California. I'm back in the U.S. now, some parts of Canada, but it's pretty interesting because you can almost sense where people are coming from. So it's gotten better for me, and I'm going through it faster than I was. Out of, I would say, 200 people that I have engaged with the Facebook messaging back and forth, I would say I've probably volleyed conversation back and forth with about 200. And out of those 200, and I'm still working through that process, I have 11 solid prospects with 3 appointments ready to get started with President's Packs. And one will be tomorrow, 2 I believe are next week. Once I form them and I'm sharing the information, I send them to add them with their permission. Guys, it's really important you ask for their permission to put them into the Alive to Thrive Now group, and that seals the deal. Can't even explain it any other way. It seals the deal. If you're not doing that missing piece, then you need to, because that's what's sealing the whole thing for you.
I was just going to say that was such a critical piece, and we almost didn't create that 3 group concept at the beginning. When people were looking at this engagement strategy, they were thinking, oh God, 3 groups, that's a lot of groups. But that Alive to Thrive Now acts as a virtual launch party. It's social proof. It takes most of the work out of it for you, really. And Mary, talk a little bit about the fact that we were doing like 3-way messaging, like all the time, like every hour almost for about a week. What was your experience of that? And I know we both got better at it as we went along.
Definitely got better. Practice makes perfect. I was very fearful of asking questions, and that's all about forming, is asking questions. And that was a big fear of mine. I felt like I was intruding or being nosy by asking questions. And so that part of this whole business model I could never get past until this. And I ended up taking that script that we used on the first webinar we shared with you guys. It kind of metamorphed into something different because of my experience with this post going viral. I was like head first into forming for hours upon hours every day. I'm still doing it. The first week, thank you, Bridget and Faith. Bridget started with me when it started, and then she had to leave town she has a new grandbaby, you guys.
Yes.
So it was, all this timing, right? So Faith jumped in, and this was all at the last minute. It happened overnight. Faith dropped everything and started playing ball with me. And we'd start some days as early as 8 and quit as 5. We'd always make sure we'd have an hour break in there. But, through that process, some people kept appointments, some didn't. So when the appointments fell through, I went right back to Facebook and started following up. And it became easier and easier because it's just cut and paste. You
Mary, I
just want to
want to,
make sure.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you're working that fast, you want to make sure you're cut and pasting the right message to the right
Yeah,
person.
to the right
A
person.
couple
I
of
was
times,
going to say
a
that when
couple of times I did, repeat a question to someone, or I sent the part of a script that I hadn't quite got there yet with the person. But, I just apologized and said, look, this is the situation. I have literally 200 people just like you that are eager to find out what this proven system is to help you feel better. So be patient with me while I go through these 200 people. And most people are gracious. You can tell early on by how the conversation going if they're going to be a viable prospect for you. If I have to ask the same question 3 times, that's probably not the person I want on my team.
Yeah, Mary, I
So,
was going to say that when we first started this, I think the way that you and Bridget put the script together worked very effectively, but that's if you're working with maybe 3 to 5 people. But
correct.
what you learned is because you had a couple things going on here. You had so many people that wanted information that it empowered you and you became 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And all of a sudden, you weren't, that feeling of like you've got to have every single person say yes goes away. You get a lot better at asking the questions and qualifying. I think your confidence from doing it and also knowing that, hey, if they don't respond well to the forming, then so be it, right? Because you had so many people to talk to.
So true. Bridget, Faith, I'm sorry. This came back to through this process of me doing this over and over and over and over and over again. This came to me. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
At the
And
right
once I
time.
at the right and I'm not desperate anymore. I'm not desperate to talk and share everything with everybody I meet. Not some of those people are not worthy of sharing this only because they're not at the place where they can receive it. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes. And I know the demographic that you hit with this particular post, and it
Oh
could be
goodness.
different on any post, is probably what would you say the Black community quite a bit on
Yes.
that one?
The deep south, yes. And people who have unfortunate lives, sometimes due to their own fault, but many it's not that case.
Right.
It's quite heartbreaking when you have conversations with some of these people and you can feel their pain, but there's no way you can help them because one, their head's not where it needs to be, and two, they don't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing that it really gets you in touch with why we're building this business,
Yes.
to empower others, to help others, but maybe to really be at a point in our lives where we can give back financially, maybe create a scholarship fund. Who knows? We can get creative. When I think about Peter Kelly and her team, and how they've done fundraising for different projects. There'll come a day, Mary, when we can do that. So I know it's heartbreaking when you're talking to beautiful people. And I know a lot of the people that we did three-way messaging with, for the most part, you did such a great job of qualifying them. I would say that most of them, were really wonderful people. They really were interested, and just some of them can't quite see their way to doing it
Yeah,
yet. But
exactly.
but the fact that you now know that we've got our hands on something that's so powerful, and if people will understand to stay consistent and persistent and stay in there the long haul, they're going to really greatly benefit. Do you have any advice to people on the team since you really have become a bit of an expert in all this?
Advice, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Oh,
Advice
the
for,
question, well, basically, you have really dedicated yourself to this Facebook strategy from day one, and
yeah,
you wanted us to do this from day
hmm
one, even before Brenda shared with us her connection to Casey at that
right,
event. And it was really a divine intervention the way this all came together. But you had
totally.
seen this liking and commenting strategy, and you knew it worked, But so this is something you've had in your heart for a long time, and you've totally committed yourself to it. You're a total team player. You support everyone on the team, regardless of whose organization they're in. Do you have some advice for people, just because you have been in the trenches with this from day one when we started implementing it?
Yeah, I do actually. If you want to play, be trained. And if you want to be really good at it, ask to role play with one of us. I'm open. I don't care if you're on my pay leg, my team, or Bonnie's team. If you want to role play, let me know. I'm happy to do that with you. And I'm sure, I'm not talking for Bridget, but I'm sure she feels the same way. Because the more of us who are confident and consistent and persistent with our actions in the strategy, the Facebook strategy, the more we all will be successful. But only if you're consistent. Not all of us are consistent.
Exactly. And this strategy does well if you have about 20 solid, committed people. 20 sort of the sweet spot. You can have a little bit less, but so, we sort of go in and out in our numbers, but the truth is it works. We know it works. And really, it can just completely open up your whole world becomes your oyster. So do you have any final thoughts before we move on?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Oh, just wonderful job. I wish we could hear everyone. They'd be applauding you right now.
Thank
Great
you.
job, Mary. Thank you so, so much.
You're
Really,
welcome.
really
Thank you.
appreciate you. I'll just go ahead and just so we don't have any background noise, I'm going to go ahead and mute Mary and we'll move on to the next part. So, one of the things that sometimes we'll hear from people is, oh, I feel a little overwhelmed with this Facebook strategy. And part of it's because it's new and it's something different. Part of it's that they just don't know what their plan is. So we wanted to share in this webinar some different ways that you can go about planning your strategy, planning your posting so that it doesn't take up all your time and you can use your time really effectively. There's a really cool app tool that's owned by Facebook called Post Planner. So I definitely recommend if you're feeling like you need to sort of get some stuff automated in the system, you can plan out your posts for the whole week. I suggest doing that on Sunday evenings. And you can find the app Post Planner by just doing a search on Facebook. And let's see, specific days. You can also take out the stress of posting if you just have certain days to do certain types of posts, because then it becomes very predictable for you. You don't have to think, oh, what am I going to do on Monday and what am I going to do on Wednesday? And we'll show you in the next slide. Create a posting schedule. And this is one that we're already using in one of our events. And I think, Mary, you're using it on your Facebook page. Motivational Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, Inspirational Thursdays, and I love Fun Freedom Fridays. So that's a regular schedule that you could get on. Again, you could set these up through Post Planner on Sunday night and find yourself really pretty much set for the week, except checking in once or twice a day into the two Facebook threads. FB links, Alive to Thrive, which is, of course, for the link for your profile page. And the second thread is for FB support Alive to Thrive, which is a second thread. We changed it around. It used to say Alive to Thrive first, but on your smartphone, it's hard to see which thread is which, and so we switched it around. Hopefully that everyone finds that helpful. Okay, so overcoming overwhelm, it's really important to create good business habits. We always say in this business or any business, you want to have a daily mode of operation. So you want to set up your schedule for posting. Consistency obviously wins the race. In your audience, it's not only good for you, but the people that follow you, you'd be amazed. Not everyone comments or likes, but you may find yourself having a huge following, but you don't always know whether those people are following you, but they're watching you. But if you have regular posts that you're doing, like that Motivational Monday and Wellness Wednesdays, people will start to remember when you post on certain subjects, and they will look forward to that and make sure they check out your posts every single day. So this is what Post Planner looks like. And I'm going to actually go over there for a second. This is another slide. You can see what it looks like when you go to Facebook. Let me just go ahead and change this over to Facebook. So get over there. Okay, so if I were to type in Post Planner, okay, you'll see it. It pops up. See that? There we've got 10,000 plus monthly users. Probably a lot more than 10,000, but I'm just going to click over there for a second. It'll come up here in a moment. And again, Post Planner is owned by Facebook, so it's really easy to find on Facebook. It's under games. I don't know why they have it under games. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My computer's being slow, so I may not wait. Okay, there it comes up. You've already seen the slide in the PowerPoint that shows you what it looks like. You can go ahead and try it out for free, and then after a certain period of time, I think you can pay like a minimal amount of money per month if you want to continue using it. So just try it out for free first and see if you like it and see if it really makes a difference for you. So it should help you with your engagement as well. One of the things I've heard, I don't know if this is absolutely true, but I've heard that because Facebook owns Post Planner, that it actually favors those that use it and gives you more visibility on the news feed. Not sure if that's true, but it would be sure cool if it was and you're using it. All right, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, I love all these buttons here. Okay, so much fun. Okay, so now moving along, and let me get my little slideshow moving up here. Okay, so the next part I want to cover is celebrating birthdays. We all naturally want to help celebrate and wish our friends happy birthday. Typically, what we do is we go to a person's profile page and wish them happy birthday on their page. But for the purposes of what we're using celebrating birthdays for, that isn't necessarily necessary if you want to really create a regular schedule of connecting with people around their birthday or on their birthday. This is a great way to create with old and new friends. And what we're going to recommend is that you private message the happy birthday wish. And I was just doing some screenshots here. I'll show you where to find the place where you're going to check out your friends' birthdays. So let's hear. Okay, so just some tips on this. And Felicia, who is someone I followed who works with a gentleman named Terry Grimaud, I paid for some paid training with them, and they're quite good. Terry does training on LinkedIn and Craigslist and all kinds of ways to generate leads. And he's now working with a beautiful lady named Felicia. And I just went through, she's really specializes in Facebook groups and pages for networking and expanding your reach on Facebook. So I went through her training over the last week and a half. And so she mentioned a few key points on birthdays. She says, skip the wall posting, not unless it's a really close friend. Reach out in a private message, build the engagement, open up conversations, which is perfectly and naturally happens when you wish someone a happy birthday. And let's see what here's some things that she had as ways to wish people happy birthday through a private message. You just wish them happy birthday, George, Mary Sue. What are your fun plans for today? Hey, Mary, happy birthday. Hope you had a great one. What do you have planned for tonight if you know that it's like a Friday or Saturday night? And another one was happy birthday, Mary, how are you celebrating this year? So, these are just an authentic way to wish them happy birthday, find out what they're doing. She did mention on her webinar, and I thought it was interesting, is that don't be surprised as you do this consistently every single day. You go into your Facebook account and wish people happy birthday. That you may find some people that aren't having a happy birthday. So just be aware. Most people are having a fabulous day and they're excited to share their day with you. And it's just a chance to reconnect, touch base, and let it be natural. You know, maybe a second or third or fourth conversation might lead to, hey, how's your business going? Or what are you doing these days? That kind of thing. But let that be very natural and organic. But this is a great way to sort of keep a constant flow of reconnections going on or new connections. And oh, we're going to get into that slide in just a minute. I want to go back to actually my browser here. So let me go back to Firefox. And I'm just going to go over to my home page here. I'm going to get these little message threads down here, go over to home. We'll get over there in a second. Okay. And okay, we have events. Now I'm looking for where, okay, I have to go over here. Hold on a second, guys. What I'm looking for is where you find the birthdays, and I know they're right on the right. Let's see here. Create, look like audience, Derek. Okay, here we are. Okay, we have birthdays right here. So when you're on your home page, you look over to your right and you scroll down and you're going to see events. So you have your event invites. I've got 22 events I have to check out. I got to get better at checking out these events. But right below that are the birthdays. And so it has Derek, a friend of mine, and it has 10 others. So let me bring that up. So here, if you post right here, it's going to post right on their profile page. But if you want to go ahead and take your mouse and put it on the person's name, and then I can slide right over here and just send Derek a private message right here. I'm not going to do it right this minute, but see how easy that was? So I'm just going to review that again. You're going to click on birthdays. They're going to pop up this window. You can write right here if you want and even put a little photo, like a little happy birthday photo. That will go onto their wall. And with close friends, I'll probably do that. But with people maybe I don't know as closely, I'm going to be a little bit more efficient with my time and just click. You know, you don't even have to click. You just put your mouse over their name, the hyperlink of their name, and then slide your mouse down to where it says message, and then click it, and it opens another box, and you don't even have to leave this page. See how efficient that is? So you can quickly go through it, and you can cut and paste a message in there and then just personalize it. So cut and paste a message, but personalize it so that it's not too tedious for you and something that you can do on a daily basis. I'm going to get back into this. I have been really remiss in wishing everybody happy birthday. I do it when I think of it, but I haven't been consistent. But that is changing now. And now I have a nice little system for doing it. So I'm going to go back here and go back to the slideshow. So there we go. All right. So now that's the birthday piece. So that's one thing you can be doing to really increase your engagement. Identify groups. So to identify different groups and pages that you want to like or join, you probably should think about, well, who's my ideal customer, potential business partner? Sometimes they call that an avatar, but you could just be thinking about what are the qualities of that individual. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. You want to identify groups for the ideal customer or distributor. When you go into a group, you always want to identify first the administrator of that group, and you want the friend, that administrator. So always identify the administrator and the top 3 posters of the particular group that you've joined. And you're going to private message them, add questions, add value. You're really just building a relationship in the first few messages, but you're building that connection up. So now I'm going to move on to find groups that your ideal client or customer would be a part of. What does your target market like to do? What social topics would you have in common? And of course, I repeat again here that you want to make sure you become friends with the administrator in the top 3 posters of a particular group, or even on a particular page, though it's not quite as easy to access on a page versus a group. So here on this particular slide, I just put down some things, and this is something you want to give some thought to, and create a journal and just keep adding things, qualities that you really want to get very detailed about who your ideal connection, distributor, client, customer would be. So I just threw these together fairly quickly, but I need to add and think a lot more about this. Obviously, I'm looking for people that probably want to exercise, not a couch potato necessarily. They eat organic. Notice I say 80,000 plus per year just because I want, when I do connect with an individual, my goal is that when they see Isagenix and review the information, connect with me, that's an easy decision for them to make because they have some discretionary income and they truly want to feel better and have more energy. So, and in proactive individuals, right? People that take action when they see something good. Uh, People that read a lot, they're entrepreneurial perhaps, environmental, they care about the environment, they support GMO labeling, someone that cares about the food that they eat. They love to hike or read Oprah magazine, love massage, invest in their education. I mentioned it's a her. So again, just get as detailed as you can around who you're wanting to attract because the reason for this is that then it allows you to identify more effectively groups and pages where this individual is probably going to be hanging out. Now, you can't really see this slide too well, but I'm just going to look through here. This is from Felicia's webinar, and I'm just going to scroll down. She has women in business. These are different groups. Women in business, women who mean business, women of the internet marketing, mommy entrepreneurs. And mommy entrepreneurs, any kind of group like that tends to end up being a spam group. We'll talk about that in a moment. Divaguide.com. Okay, let me go over to this one. Let me see if I can find some others here. Healthy Wellness. I'm gonna have to check this one out. Healthy Wellness Happy. Top Earner Club. Okay, that's Ray Higdon. That's not applicable, but okay, so groups versus pages. Groups allow you to identify an administrator and look for top posters where that's not going to be easy to do on a page. But there's a lot more pages, I think, than groups. So one of the things I'm still working on is identifying groups where my avatar, the person I'm looking for, would hang out. So that's going to be an ongoing process of adding more groups as you discover them, creating keyword searches in Facebook to discover as many different variations of groups as you can of people that are interested in health and wellness and are proactive and perhaps even entrepreneurial. Let's see. When people respond, request their friendship. Yeah, when they respond to you, you can also request that you connect as friends. So I'm just going to bring up some different groups here. Hiking with dogs. I don't have a dog, but I love to hike. So I haven't found hiking with cats. I have cats. So hiking with dogs I picked that one. So it's going to be a little interesting being in that group and not having a dog. That's one of the things with groups. You really should join groups that are authentic to you. In other words, you don't want to join a mountain climbing group and never intend on mountain climbing, or a scuba group and you've never scuba or you have no intention of ever doing scuba. You really want to at least have the interest in the topic that you're joining that particular group. This group is great for the business side of things in the sense that you can connect with other business people, probably, and network marketers, traditional business people, and there's a way to bridge or create a relationship with them. This is a group that Felicia Mupo is very active in. Women in Business Facebook group. It has specific rules. All groups have their own rules. You need to always, whenever you go into a group, you want to make sure you read their rules, okay? Because you don't want to do something that goes against that group's rules. And this is more of a spam group, but it could be some interesting connections called Mommy Entrepreneurs. When you go into spam groups, it's not about posting, it's about connecting. And there's a big difference, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Let's see here. This was a group. I love to dance. I love dancing. I love walking and hiking. So I joined Dance Walk San Diego. It says pending here, but they finally accepted my membership. So I'll be networking in here. The only downside I found out with this particular group is that they don't have a lot of engagement. There's a lot of posting going on by the people that run the group, but there's not a lot of engagement. So you really want to join groups that have a higher level of engagement. It does have, I think, only 343 members here, but uh, we'll talk about some pages that you can really be looking at just to get your wheels turning in terms of places that you could be networking. When in spam groups connect into a conversation thread, you want to private message individuals. You're not looking to be posting, before and after pictures necessarily. There might be particular groups that you can do that in, but a lot of times when you do that in what we call a spam group, which just means that everyone's promoting their own opportunity, is that no one listens to anyone. But if you go in and look and see who's regular posters, you can then private message them and say, "Hey, how you doing? How's Facebook for your business? How's that working for you?" That kind of thing. You can definitely be identifying other entrepreneurs and people that are involved with network marketing. And this is something that you wouldn't do in the first conversation or maybe even the second, but if you build a connection with someone over time, you could say, are you being groomed for success? Do you have leadership within your current team that's helping you find success? This is something you wouldn't do right away, but something after you've had 2 or 3, 4, conversations back and forth, then you could start posing those kind of questions. And that would be more likely to do that inside what we consider more of a spam group where there's a lot of other entrepreneurs. Let's see, do you have a leader that's showing you how to get leads without random posting or relying strictly on friends and family? These are just more questions that Felicia had in her webinar for uh, for individuals that you might be connecting with inside, quote, what we call a spam group. Are you being taught how to optimize Facebook? Position yourself as leaders that people want to join. I should say leader there. I'm going to make some corrections on these slides. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump back over to my browser and let's see if I can find Mommy Entrepreneurs quickly. Okay, here we go. Mommy Entrepreneurs. Let's see here. And I have not joined this group, have I? Oh, I've got to join the group. Let me go ahead and do that and see if, oh, I'm already in. Woo-hoo. Some of the groups, they'll let you join immediately. Other times you have to be approved. So I'm going to have to go through this, but obviously I'm going to have to really check this group out. But this is where I'm going to see how much engagement is really going on here. Are people commenting or is it just posting? So I'm going to look at see who's posting and well, first thing I'm going to do is I'll connect with whoever the administrator is. If I can identify that person, I can see there's some people I already know that are part of this group. So I want to identify the administrator, see if there's some regular posters in this group, and connect with them through private message. Ideally, if I request their friendship in such a way that I can do on the page and then connect with them through a regular inbox. Because if you don't have one friend in connection, with that person that you're wanting to reach out through private message, it's going to go into their other box. Like I'm just going to do an experiment here and I'm going to click on Amy and I'm going to click on message. And, oh, well, this is amazing. Because I'm inside the group and she's inside the group, it's not going to go to her other box. So I could message Amy and just find out how her business is going, how's it working with networking on Facebook. So that is cool because we're both part of the same group. It isn't going into her other box, which, if you're going to message someone and it's going to go into their other box, you're better off not messaging them at all, because the chances are they're not going to see that message. So that's just a little tip on that. But I'm going to have to do some work in this group and get to know it more and see if I can determine who the administrator of this group is. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about pages. I'm just going to show you some pages that I was doing some research. This is Extreme Weight Loss. I think it's a show on TV, and I don't watch television, so I'm not really plugged into it. But it might be something you want to check out. You may connect with some people that are sincerely looking to release some weight and are going to be excited to find out that you have the answer. Oprah Magazine, or anything with Oprah. Oprah, this is her life class page. Oprah has numerous pages on Facebook. So you'll see Oprah Magazine, you'll see the Oprah Show, Life Class. Check them all out. I suggest, if you haven't already liked them, that you do, and you visit them often, because there's, I think, a high quality people that follow Oprah. Also, this particular women's magazine, Women Daily Magazine, so check that one out. I thought was another interesting one. Nordstrom's. Now, this may seem odd because it's all about fashion, makeup, but people that are into looking good probably want to take care of their health in many cases and probably have some discretionary income. So I thought it was worth checking out. Here's a really cool page I discovered. And I just love Good News. This one's called Good News Network. It's a network that they have online that is all about positive news. So I got their app, and I suggest you go like the page and get their app and check out who's posting on their page. It seemed to be fairly active. So I was really excited about that. This one was a wild picture here. People's Choice Adventure, National Geographic. People that are into adventure and active lives want to be healthy for the most part. They want to be healthy. They want to feel good. They want to up their performance. So I thought that would be a cool page to check out as well. Here's another women's. No, this is not women's. This is Success Magazine, and this is more for targeting people that are entrepreneurial and who visit this page. And as I keep working with these pages, we together will determine just how active people are on these pages as far as engagement. This one I just checked out, Fit Body Boot Camp, so check it out. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into Facebook, creating Facebook lists. As you're expanding your network on Facebook, I suggest that you create a list or two so that when you're doing your power posts, you can target those posts to those specific lists. So it's a pretty neat way to be very targeted in who you want to make sure your posts are seen by, especially people that are health conscious and who you've connected with recently as you start to grow your network on Facebook. So, and I just did a little screenshot there that showed where to find creating a list. And actually, I forgot how to create friends lists because I hadn't done it in so long. So whenever you forget something on Facebook, just go to Google and Google it. And so I Googled how to create a friends list on Facebook, and it told me how to do it. It was really, really easy. So basically, you can see my screenshot here where I created a list for nutritional cleansing. Let me get off of this right now and go back to my Firefox. And we're going to go, actually, I'm going to do a Google search here. Let me just move this so I can show you exactly what I did here. So open up the tab. Okay, so, I think I still have it in my browser here. Let me just go ahead and cut that out for a second and put it back in, and we'll search it. It'll come up. Okay, so I'm searching on how to find or create lists on Facebook. So let's see, let's click this for help. And it comes up, okay, so how do I use friend lists to organize my friends? How do I create a new list to organize my friends? So I click on that, And basically what it says is scroll down to friends on the left-hand side of the news feed and click more. So let's go back. So you see how you always have Google to help you, even if you forget how to do something. So I'm going to go to home, and we're going to go over here to friends, and I'm just going to find pages, groups, friends. Okay, so see where it says friends here, and then when my mouse goes over here, the more button pops up. It's a little hard to find if you don't know where to look for it. So there we go. We're going to click that. You see, I created a list right here called nutritional cleansing. I could create another list for aspiring entrepreneurs, if I was more business focused. If I'm doing lifestyle posts, I might target a different list, or I might target lifestyle and health and wellness and nutritional cleansing with the same list. But this is where you can create your list right here. You just click create list. It pops up, you name the list. If you can add members while you're doing it, or you can do it later. So that's exactly how you would create a list. Very, very easy. And thanks to Google makes it even easier. So we'll go back here and moving right along. And we're almost getting towards the end of this. Okay, so what did we cover today or this evening? We obviously took a few minutes to review what we did in the last webinar, which the last webinar, and I don't know if I covered this in great detail, we covered the Facebook engagement strategy in its entirety. We talked about the chat threads, which is our means for being able to click on other people's posts and like and comment on them in a very convenient manner. We talked about our groups, the 3 different groups that we have: Alive to Thrive Now, which acts like a virtual a virtual launch party, which is group number 1. Group number 2 is Alive to Thrive product support, and group number 3 is Alive to Thrive business. And we talked about how to use those groups. We talked about how to support each other's posts and how that increases the traffic to your post. And we talked about 3-way messaging, and Bridget and Mary did a wonderful job of covering that. And all of that is in the other webinar. So, and of course, in this particular webinar, we covered how to set up a schedule, celebrating birthdays, and what happens when your post goes viral. And the last thing is we talked about your target market. That's something that we can all give a lot more thought to. I know we think, okay, our target market is everybody. And maybe technically speaking, that's true. Anyone that walks, talks, or breathes is our target market. But if you try to market to everybody, you tend to miss the mark and end up, your message doesn't get heard by anyone because you're so general. So the more specific you become, you might be thinking, oh my God, I'm getting too specific. No, become really specific, because you're going to have a much more ideal customer and or distributor in potential business partner, by being more specific. Oftentimes we attract to people like ourselves or people that we would like to be like. So we always say chicken list is those individuals that you're afraid to talk to because they have a high level of authority and maybe you're a little scared to approach them. Those would be great qualities to put into your avatar or your ideal, who you're looking for in terms of their qualities. We talked about networking on Facebook pages and groups. They are definitely different, but they're both good. So you can network on a page and you can network in a group. A group just gives you the opportunity to connect with an administrator of that group. If it's a really active group, you can connect with the most frequent posters, and that allows you sort of to open up the floodgates for you to connect with others in that group. One little point of caution: when you enter into a group, don't proceed to message everybody in that group, or you could be kicked out of that group. Always read the instructions and the rules and policies of each group before you take do anything inside that group and always follow their rules. Become a good steward and a good member of that group, and you'll be loved and respected for it, and be a contributor, not a taker. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And I'm going to go ahead. I think we're done, except that I want to maybe unmute Mary here, see if she has any remaining remarks. I want to thank you all for being on tonight. This is a brand new PowerPoint presentation for me, so I'm still getting used to it and still getting used to go to the webinar too, but it's a lot of fun, and practice does make perfect. Mary, is there anything else you want to add? If she's available. She may have had to step away because I know she wasn't going to be able to be on for the whole time. I want to thank you all for coming on tonight. Thank you so much. And of course, I'll do another webinar next Thursday at 7. I'll do it earlier. That will cover the same topic. This was really a practice one for me because I hadn't gone through the whole thing before. But I appreciate you guys being on, Bridget and Kathy and Mary and Teresa. Thank you so much, guys. You gave me the opportunity to work out the kinks here, and we'll get better at it as we go along. Thanks, everyone. Oh, it's recording again. Anyway, Bridget, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording.